Hello, welcome to my channel. If you are new, hello, hi, I am Melissa. I am a part-time reseller and full-time grad student, and I love clothing and I love reselling, so welcome. If you are returning, hello, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by, I really appreciate it. Today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I am not doing a thrift haul like my last couple videos have been. I'm just gonna do a real talk. This is 5 things I have to remember as a part-time reseller. So if that's something you're interested in and that's the kind of content you want to see, go ahead and subscribe down there, and let's get into the video. First things first, we're gonna go backwards. So I'm gonna start at 5. Okay. So number 5 is manage my time wisely. So I feel like that goes for anybody, not just part-time resellers, but as us part-time resellers, we have to manage our time wisely. We have to make sure we're buying things, we're doing things that are going to benefit us the most. So what I like to do, it just works with my schedule, is I do all of my photographs and my measurements and inventory, stuff like that, 1 day a week. And then the rest of the week, I have all those things ready to go. I can just input them into my listings. So that's what I do to manage my time wisely. Number 4 is consistency, consistency, consistency. I say that 3 times because it is so important. I actually did not follow this rule this week. It has been freezing cold. I mean, like in the negatives this week, which is not normal for Missouri weather. If you don't know, I live in Missouri. I live in like the southwest corner of Missouri. But it's not very common for us to get this much, but this has been more than a week. So, off my tangent for a bit. Consistency. So you have to be so consistent with what you're doing because it helps. I don't really know how, I don't really know why. It's probably a little bit of algorithms. It's probably a little bit of the fact that the people that follow you are seeing those new items. That's what I would guess. It's a little bit of everything, but consistency is so important. I try and list 3 items a day, roughly at the same time. Now sometimes it's a little later, sometimes it's a little earlier, but I try and list 3 items a day, every day. And then sharing your closet, you have to be consistent. You have to do it multiple times a day. Now that's only on Poshmark. Other things it's different. Macari is different. Depop's different. All of those are different. But on Poshmark especially, you have to have those consistent sharing times. Number 3, I have to do what works for me and my business and meet my own goals. So I can't compare myself to those big 6-figure or other big YouTubing resellers. I don't have the inventory for that. I don't have the time for that. I don't have those things that can get me those places. So I try and make monthly and annual goals that fit me and my expectations. Do I always meet them? No. This month especially, like I talked about in number 4, has not been a good week for me or a good month. But that's okay. We learn, we live, and we do our best. So number 3 is meet my own goals and do what works for me. Number 2 is so big. Number 2 is to understand that not everything sells the same for everybody. So what I mean by that is what I get consistent sales in, somebody else might not, or vice versa. So for instance, my mom is actually a reseller as well. We both do this together. We both shop in the same place at the same time together, almost always. And her and I can pick up the same item, the same brand, and they will sell differently. I have a different following than she does. And I think that's so important to remember. For me, I have done it so many times where I either do pick up something and I spend way too much money on it, or I don't pick up something and I regret it because everybody's saying, pick up this brand, pick up this brand. And that's okay. You know, we live and we learn. That's gonna be my tag. We live and we learn. No, but for real, like, I think that as a reseller, it is so important to buy what you like to sell. If you don't like to sell it, don't buy it. If you don't want to photograph it, if it's something that you see and you're like, man, this would take forever to photograph, or man, these have a lot of measurements, or man, I just don't like it. I know it's a big brand, but I don't like it. You don't have to get it. Number 1. So I had trouble deciding what my number 1 would be, but I think it goes a little bit into number 2, and that's do your research, but follow your gut. So for me, I hate doing the research. I hate it. I hate having to sit and find the exact item, and you know, I think it's a learning process, and I'm very bad at it, but that's okay. And I think with those things, you have to understand a lot goes into it besides just style, brand, color, etc. Like, you have to follow your gut. So for instance, there are some things that I will show to my mom, or I will look at and I will be like, I don't know what it's selling for, but it seems like a good buy. So I will put in a picture right here. This was a Nike bag, and I got it for $4. It was in my thrift haul a couple weeks back, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. It is something that's unique. I think it would be something like kitschy that, you know, somebody might like and somebody might be in search for. Now, comps were everywhere. I mean, like, there weren't many, but they were everywhere. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just start it high. And I started it at $75, and I think, well, you'll see what the offer was. It was like 60 something. You'll know. So I sold it for a little under what I expected, but it still sold. And my mom was like, no, that thing's never gonna sell because it's so hideous. And you know, it might not have sold in her closet, but it did sell in mine. It's something that I really liked and I thought would be a fun little sell. So that is that. But that just shows, like, you do need to do research. You do. It's very important as a reseller. You know, you do want something that's not oversaturated. You do want it to be something that's unique, something that fits your closet style or whatever style you're going for. It needs to be something that you want to photograph and you want to get listed. And those are a bunch of things that go into it. All right, so those are 5 things I have to remind myself of as a part-time reseller. What are some things that you have to remind yourself of? If you would, leave me a comment. Tell me if you got to the end. Tell me if any of these things you do consider or you don't consider within your business. And I will see you next week.